Well, the Automotive Marathon goes again in Comic Studio, and I wouldn't believe to be awaiting that we're going to see this moment once and for a little bit for right here. For the previous videos around that I made for these 5 videos and a total of the Automotive Marathon videos that I just probably seen this in Comic Studio that I just added from my files and whatever that I just already seeing this is back in Thomas and Friends what I just already seeing this back in year 2024, but right now in year 2025 that in July wouldn't believe that could be that we just already missed for the 4th of July for this thing as well. Sometimes it's probably going to be the next year, and that will be for nothing how fun it is as well. But turns out people might turn hated on the 4th of July, and that wouldn't be even possible for the next year as well. So right back in Death Justice Madness Comic Studio, I could have able to add it for some kind of automobiles like here for this thing as well. But now comes to part 6 of this video, like whenever it goes for around here for somewhere, and sometimes added for some kind of like those things whenever it goes. Even though there's no alien music that he just added on, even though that is not going to be quite for a little bit even necessary. And that could be to the next video. We'll be going around here, but starting around with some teams and even much more that I'm probably going to find out as well. Sometimes we haven't looked around anything as well, but since I just probably unfinished it like anything as well, and somewhere over here for some kind of cars as well, I'm probably going to find out that I'm not going to find that what I'm just going to do. So even there must be more car brands in Comic Studio. I wasn't able to be finding out, and I wasn't ready to see some cars. Whenever that I just totally find out, it was probably disturbing as looking for some kind of car brands in Comic Studio, but there's only 2 in a total as well, and it was between this Toyota and Nissan Altima, even though that wouldn't believe that is actually probably exists as anyways. I should be able to find out that we're going to try to do. Imagine this in stupid-eyed Comic Studio. There were Chevy Suburbans and Silverados almost everywhere from their model years right there before. And it was since a decade ago for around here for some kind of Chevy Silverados and Suburbans that they absolutely make for some kind of a little bit greatest. But sometimes their cars are probably a little bit reliable around for them as well. So I just probably put their characters from the stupid-eyed Comic Studio, and probably they aren't official like those things as well, even though they must be from their model years as well, and because they absolutely freaked out for one of their cars that I just absolutely added from my files whenever that I just going to do as anyways. Sometimes the GTA cars like anything as well for some kind of probably to do this as well. So that must be the 2015, 2016, 2017 model year. And even though there must be multiple cars such as the 2013 or 2014 model year, and even though such as 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018 model year, about of those cars or some kind of trucks such as the Silverado 1500 and 2500 as anyways. So probably moving on into the scruffiest Comic Studio, but there must be a whole bunch of cars like anything as well, and some kind of a little bit of age restriction warning about for this. That would be a little bit easy as well. Somewhere there must be a Cadillac, the XTS series or some kind of like this, the Land Rover Velar around with those people, and the South Park person, the BMW X7, the Silverado 1500 Sport, between the cookies and the South Park characters. The Mercedes SL300 with the girl on for some kind of like back on a few decades ago, back in the 1950s, and the Aston Martin V8 Vantage within another cookie by itself. Sometimes it could be for the XTS, like the Cadillac XTS over here. I shouldn't be able to load for something else anyways for it to do this as well. So I'm reading for the round here for some kind of the GTA cars, like anything as well. Even for the Beaman G cars, like the Autobello Piccolina and the Ibishu Corvette around here. Which means Dara came from Hot Wheels Comic Studio, except that I just added from my files, such as the Ennis Algary, which is the R33 GTR, the Hiroshi Sunburst, which is pretend to be like this thing as well, that the Buick, I'm probably sure, the Buick Regal should pretend to be like the Chrysler 200C is pretended to be the Classe Essia, and the Gavril Barstow over here just pretended to be like a muscle car, whatever it does. So, moving on to the next one, it could be for around here. I don't really think, but the bad news is I don't have a Toyota Prius in my files as well, which means that the Chevrolet Volt could pretend to be like a Karen Dilettante. The Hiroshi SBR4 could be pretend to be like as well. The Porsche Panamera could to be like a Hiroshi SBR4. The Impala pretended to be like the classic Pramer. The Rune Chibrik could be for something as reference to be as the Lada 2107. The Benefactor Panto could be for the Tails car from Hot Wheels, and Obey Ominous could be for reference to an Audi Quattro. Probably I shouldn't be able to be clicking around for this thing like anyways, but things might go into glitched out soon. Another one could be the Sandy's wagon, unlike for some kind of like the car as well, which means that could be the Class A Walton. That must be Sandy's car anyways. And a Honda Accord could be for around here as the Dinka Kavos, or the Dinka Kavos as well. The Gavril Blue Buck Convertible. Well, what is such a limousine from Battle for Dream Island? And the Buick Lucerne could be pretend to be a Karen Intruder. And that's how the Buick Lucerne have turned into called for this car like anyways. The Ibishu Pessima isn't a reference to some other kinds of cars. The Mercury of this car over here that I didn't remember, as I totally forgot. And the Karen Rebel could be for the Mazda truck. The Mazda truck is pretended to be a Karen Rebel, or the Karen Rebel as well. Sometimes, for that kind of car, the Mercury Montego could pretend to be a Ibishu Pessima. Over here, I just completely clicked around as of the Dinka Kavos as the Honda Accord. So here we got more cars as the Class A Ranger. The little Dodge truck, the Dodge pickup trucks, is going to be between about those two of them as well. And most of them, such as the Class A Ranger and the Vapid Bobcat as well, they pretended to be like. And there must be for a little bit for one thing. There is no Gavril Gladiator overall. Sometimes that's for some kind of the Cutlass over here, or probably not for something as well. Probably like the Dodge Charger from the 1970s. Could pretended to be a Bravado Vulture. And another Lada 2107 is gonna be to pretend to be a Volcar Warreneer, the Class A Stallion on an Evil Purple, and the Ubermatch Sentinel on the BMW M4, which is pretended to be for some kind of a little bit for one thing as well. And sometimes I wouldn't able to be trying to do this as well. Sometimes the inappropriacy is gonna be down here for way down here as well. The Liberator could be for a monster truck and could be for some kind of the Joe built Liberator as well. Nothing to pretend it to be like as well for something. And there is Mrs. Fritter. It's not gonna be the Cars 3 version as well. Sometimes she looked like a monster truck smashing all the way down as well and getting back to school early on for the derby for some kind of like this back in Thunder Hollow for Spy for a little bit for one thing. I'm not very sure. She might gonna be went back into Thunder Hollow Speedway as anyways to continue learning for something. So that must be the Class A Vamos, which absolutely to do this as well for some kind of like this, and probably it was the Chevy Nova and the Class A Tampa, which is exactly could be for an unknown super muscle car, whatever it is, and the Ubermatch Cyper, and the Ubermatch Cyper could be the M2. And looks like that Cookie Run car from the oven break could be pretend as of Karen Futo. Well, that is not going to be all about for this necessary as well. So we got more cars, and we're going to be stay tuned in another video. So thankfully, the link is going to be in the description for the main website. And thankfully, just stay tuned for another video, even though that wouldn't be necessary, and it will be taking for a little bit for one thing whatsoever. So thanks for watching, and I'll be see you in another video as well. I'll talk to you mini lads and comic studio users all later once again, though they just totally saying this already.